Hey, what's going on, everyone? Back for this Thursday slate for NBA. Only 3 games today, so a short slate for us. A little break for a big one tomorrow. Had a big one yesterday, so only 3 games. It won't take too long to break it down. 2 games are starting at 10 o'clock, so be a late night for those on the East Coast. Also got more snow on the East Coast, so that should be fun today. But looking at this slate, let's get into it. As always, appreciate you guys to the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Follow him on Twitter if you want the updates. Don't know if might be some updates depending on Lowry if he's out or not, and depending on Holiday if he's back. Kyrie Irving is probable. LeBron should play. So even though they have Q tags next to their name, they both should be good to go. Dragic still out, and that's mainly it for the injuries at point guard. You have James Harden against the Lakers here at 10,600. He led them to an improbable comeback win against the Suns. They were down by like 25 points and just willed them back to victory. He had that took the biggest shot to give them the lead under a minute to go in the fourth. Love Harden. If you think you can get to him, there are a ton of studs, so I don't think he's a priority. When you have Kyrie is only $8,900. Definitely can go Kyrie Irving over James Harden. You have LeBron who looks similar to Harden, if not a little bit better, just because Harden's going up against a tough Lakers defense. James is going up against a very porous Nets defense without Anthony Davis. So I probably lean LeBron over Harden. I still like Kyrie. And I do like De'Aaron Fox as well, 8,500. He's been just putting up huge scores. Great fantasy player. Takes a lot of shots, gets assists, does a little bit of everything. You like to play him here. The Heat on a back-to-back. They did go into overtime yesterday. Overtime loss. So they could be a little bit tired, but the Kings are just super banged up with injuries. They're going to be one of the favorite teams to target today. We'll definitely spend some time touching on the guys that look good on the Sacramento side, but Fox is definitely one of them. Van Fleet looks good on the Toronto side if Kyle Lowry's out. Playable if Lowry's in, but he looks much better if Lowry happens to miss just because we'll have the ball in his hands a lot more being the true point guard. Lowry does handle the ball a bit, but if he sits, then the ball will be in Van Fleet's hands. If Lowry does give it a go, I think he is in play here. He's been playing a lot better. He's only $7,000, so a nice cheap price tag on him. He's been shooting the ball a lot better, and like over his last 5 games, shooting 60% from the floor, 50+% from three, making a lot of plays. The Raptors starting to win now, so it's a spot where if he is in, I think he looks playable at $7,000. You have Tyrese Halliburton, who's going to play more minutes today. He's already been playing 30, 31, so I think you'll probably see like 32, 33, 34. He's probably not going to get a huge jump in minutes, but he should get like a lot more usage with those minutes without Barnes and without Holmes. Not that Holmes is a big usage guy, but Halliburton will be on the floor a little bit more. Definitely be out there probably in the closing lineup. So I think he looks solid at $6,000. Tyler Hero looks pretty good as well. The Heat are going up against Sacramento. Is it back-to-back for them? And like I said, so a lot of these guys played big minutes yesterday because it did go into overtime. But Hero is a really nice play. I think at $5,900, been playing huge minutes off the bench. The Heat have been running a pretty tight rotation without Dragic. Avery Bradley is still out, so they've been kind of cutting it down, and you're seeing big time minutes for Hero, big time minutes for Butler, Kendrick Nunn. Those three have been racking up huge minutes. Coming off of a 3 of 15 game where he still put up 43 fantasy points, great sign that normally he's just a shooter and scorer, but he's been doing a lot better job getting rebounds, getting some assists. So I think he looks like a really good play today. Plug him in at point guard. I want to get to some Miami guys because I know I'll be getting to some Sacramento guys. So if I was going to game stack that one, at least I want to have some pieces of Miami. If Kendrick Nunn is also a solid option here, 53, he's played 40 minutes. That was in overtime. Then he was in foul trouble against the Clippers. Really good spot against Sacramento here. Plays big minutes. Doesn't get a ton of rebounds or assists, but he can get you some steals. And just going to be out there for a ton. Takes double-digit shots. So 5,300, I think he looks like a good value option. Dennis Schroeder also looks strong at $5,800 without Davis. Just gets more usage, more shot attempts for him. Few more minutes. He did get 6 docks last game, which is something you can't really count on, but he's still going to be playing north of 30 minutes. The matchup is just really good against Brooklyn. And then for value, I like Corey Joseph, who's $3,900. He's been starting. He started last game and was really solid, 10 of 13. He should start again today without Barnes and without Holmes. So if that is the case, I think he looks to be one of the better value plays at $3,900. If we're going to get 30 minutes out of him again, will be pretty easy to hit value with some of the guys out on Sacramento. So go ahead and plug in Corey Joseph at 3,900, and that's pretty much the cheapest I'll go right now. Point guard. Moving on to shooting guard, we have Kyrie Irving, looks solid. I like Van Fleet. Will be a little bit dependent on the Lowry news. If Lowry's out, I like him more than Middleton. If Lowry's in, I would probably go Middleton over Van Fleet. Middleton, a few down games, but think he still looks strong, especially if Holiday is still out tonight. If Holiday's in, then you can pass on Middleton, but assuming Holiday misses again, I think he looks good against Toronto. Buddy Hield looks fine. He's not one of my favorites just because I like a couple value pieces on the Sacramento Kings, or it can go up to De'Aaron Fox. He's still in play because he's Buddy Hield and he can go like 6 of 9 from 3 like he did last game, and even better than that, he can even potentially break the slate. We've seen him put up 40 and 50 fantasy points in the past. Joe Harris, not that interested at 6,000 against the Lakers now that Kyrie is back. Powell, if Lowry's back, I'm not going to be interested there because Anunoby is back. So a little bit less minutes if Lowry plays. And then DiVincenzo is not a guy I'll be getting to. I like Schroeder at 5,800. And then for value, it's like I think KCP looks decent, $3,300. Still playing good minutes here. Like got up to 31. He's playing the 20s to 30s. Minutes are definitely fluctuating with him, but without Davis, should get a little bit extra minutes, and hopefully he can make some shots. Struggling a little bit with the shot, but Brooklyn is a pretty good cure for some shooters here. Small forward, it is LeBron James, who looks great at 10,200. Then you have Jimmy Butler, who's been playing out of his mind recently. Another triple-double out of him. He's had triple-double in 3 of 4 games. Having a ton of usage out there on the court, playing a boatload of minutes. Tremendous matchup against the Kings. He put up 51 against them earlier this season. So I think you got to consider going back to him, even though it's a back-to-back. But Butler's been playing big minutes and not really worried about the minutes with him on a back-to-back because they kind of need to keep winning games here due to the Miami Heat. And the Kings are just such a good matchup. They play no defense. Missing Holmes is not going to help. That he can block some shots, and then also Barnes. So they're missing some at least two. Not that Holmes or Barnes are great defenders, but out of like Whiteside, I think Holmes is a better defender than Whiteside, and then you'll probably put Glenn Robinson in place of Barnes, who's a worse defender. So Butler looks really good at 8,800 if you wanted to get some savings and similar upside to LeBron James. I like Middleton. I don't like Kuzma. Don't really like Powell. Hield is okay, but I don't think he's a core piece. Don't like Harris. And Anunoby, not going to be getting to him, I think, unless Lowry misses. But even then, I would rather go to some of the other guys on the Raptors. And then for value, it's like Glenn Robinson at $3,300. And Connaughton did go off last game, but don't really want to chase that. Power forward is definitely Giannis. Looks tremendous. The minutes have just been going off with him. Earlier this season, you're lucky. Last season, you barely played like over 30 minutes, but he's topped 36 in 4 straight games. Those games have been close. The Bucks have been in a lot of closer games. They've been losing a lot more games this year. Good spot against Toronto. Really nobody that can slow him down. He's averaging 68 fantasy points against them. If Holiday's out again, this even looks better for him in terms of assists and usage. Just an absolute stud of a fantasy player. 10,900 is discounted enough to jump on that price tag on a 3-game slate. Other guys at power forward, it's Siakam looks good at his price tag, and then for value, it's Marvin Bagley looks great just because he should start at center, and he finally got up to only played 21 minutes again last time out against Brooklyn, but did get up to 29 the game against Philly. I think there's a chance he gets to maybe gets to 30 minutes if we're lucky here, just because they're going to need some size out there with Olynyk and Bam, and Bagley's going to play. I think good minutes, and he's going to have a lot more usage and more rebounding opportunities if he does start at center, which is what happened last time, and I think that will be the case. 4,800 for Bagley. I think you can look at a 6x upside out of him. And then last but not least, I will go with other guys at center. I'll touch on center here. It's really Bam Adebayo, Siakam, Boucher for tournaments, Bagley, and then you have DeAndre Jordan at 4,900, and then it's Hassan Whiteside. Go to Whiteside as well. Former team revenge spot on his mind absolute guy that can absolutely break the slate as he showed last game against Brooklyn. Similar matchup here. Sacramento's not going to be able to slow. I mean, the Heat are have been tough, have been struggling rebounding the ball, and I definitely think he's going to want to take it to his former team. He kind of had a bad breakout with Spoelstra. 46, still a great price tag on Whiteside. So on the Sacramento side, I really like the value pieces in Corey Joseph, Bagley, and Whiteside, all below $5,000, all potentially to play at least in the 20s minutes for Whiteside, and then Joseph and Bagley could potentially hit 30. So out of these three games, the last game is a game that I really want to key on. And then I do like some pieces in the first two games, depending on some injuries here. But that's it for the DraftKings breakdown. Go ahead and touch on my FanDuel plays. Okay, on FanDuel here, starting off at point guard, it's Kyrie Irving is all the way up to 9,600. I think it's a little bit tough to get to him when you have Fox, $1,300 cheaper. So I'd probably go Fox over Kyrie. And then look at some injury news depending on Holiday and Lowry. I think Lowry looks better if he plays. Then you have some good value in Dennis Schroeder at 57, Kendrick Nunn at 51. Both guys should play north of 30 minutes. Both can be good producers, especially Schroeder without Davis. And then you have Corey Joseph at 38. I think he looks like a good option today just because he's super cheap. Potentially get to 30 minutes against Miami. Could hit you 6, 7x at least on FanDuel. Potentially get you like 8, 9x if he has a really good game. Shooting guard, it's James Harden. Looks great. I like Tyrese Halliburton a lot at 5,500. Tyler Hero at 61. And if you wanted to go cheap here, maybe you can look at KCP at 35, min priced on FanDuel. But really, it's Harden, Van Fleet if Lowry's out, and then Tyler Hero and Halliburton are the core pieces I'm kind of considering. So I'll go with Tyler Hero at 6,100 just because the minutes have been really high, and bad game yesterday shooting. Maybe you can bounce back. Good bounce back spot against Sacramento tonight. Small forward, it's Jimmy Butler. I like him a lot at 92, or you can go up to LeBron at 10.5. Probably prioritize one of the two of them. Try to get to them in my lineup. Then I have Chris Middleton. If Holiday misses, he's only 7,300 on FanDuel. That price tag is really cheap. So he would be a great play. Siakam's probably the fourth option, or the fifth option out of the guys above 7,000, I think. OG, I don't really get to him, I think, at this price tag, unless Lowry's out or unless, like, they happen to miss one of the other stars, but I don't think that's going to happen today. I go Norman Powell over OG just because he gives you a lot more upside in the scoring department. Joe Harris also in play at 5,200, and then for cheap, you can punt with Glenn Robinson with 3,500 as a min-priced option here. For me, I will go with Jimmy Butler. Definitely looking at a bit of a game stack here as the late night, or one of the two late night hammers. Power forward, it's Giannis, going to be tough to pass on just because he gives you 70, 80 point ceiling on FanDuel. Bam Adebayo gives you a high ceiling, but he's almost 9,000, so you need at least like 50 out of him. Boucher is 72, so you need like at least 40 out of him. And Kuzma, I don't want to get to him. You could, but he's definitely behind a few guys here. I'd go Bagley over Kuzma. You have Jeff Green, who could even start, although they might keep him off the bench in this matchup. Then you have B. Jelly, who's 38 on DraftKings. He looks decent there. FanDuel 46. I'd probably just go up to Bagley, but would be a nice tournament option. And there's nobody min price I'm considering. So Giannis it is, and then center options. It's really Montrezl Harrell or Whiteside. They give you a bunch of upside. Whiteside gives you a huge ceiling. DeAndre Jordan at 54, if he starts, looks okay, but they don't really to give him a ton of minutes. And without Davis, they could decide to just play Jeff Green matchup with him against Montrezl Harrell. And then Olynyk is 45, maybe. See how he's been playing. He's been up and down. Minutes have definitely been pretty volatile. It could be a play here at 4,500, but I'd rather go to just Whiteside because he should get you at least 20, 25 minutes off the bench, and that's all he needs to really crush, as he showed last time out. She'll get a lot of rebounding opportunities here against this Heat front court, and it's a Miami Heat. He's going to want to take it to his former team. I think he is definitely a revengeful player. So that's it. A lot of interest in this Miami-Sacramento game. Hopefully it goes off. Thank you guys for watching, and best of luck today.